Welcome back, everyone, to the Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Championships in Eugene, Oregon. This is our Masters PDGA Major, and we have moved on to Dexter. Coverage provided by Ace Run Pro.
Tournament presented by Innova.
Myself, Jennifer Allen, along with Holly Finley.
We'll be calling the shots today for this women's lead card. And so far, after the front nine at Dexter, Ohn Scoggins has taken the lead over Jennifer Allen, Sarah Hokom sitting in third at 3 under par, and Kristy Lee currently at 3 over par.
We're going to start off hole number 10, 243 feet, straight uphill, par 3. You can take a straight line right at the basket, as you can see there in the sunshine, or there's a nice forehand or backhand turnover shot there on the left side as well. OB does come into play if you go outside circle's edge.
Hokom up first. Taking that left side route, she makes it to the top of the hill. It sticks, and she's got a birdie putt from about 15. Ohn taking a similar route to Sarah, gets caught up a bit rolling down the hill, and she'll have a birdie putt from about 50 feet left side. Ooh, Jen with a standstill left side turnover.
Yeah, I threw a TL up there, and it literally was parking it during practice and just got caught up. I think it was just a little too low today.
Kristy with the straight at it approach, top of the hill, inside the circle, putting for birdie.
Yeah, probably the hardest drive of all of us, and it turned out beautifully.
Ohn gives it a bid, but now she'll be dropping in for par.
Never really felt like I got a clean look on a lot of these shots. I was always kind of picking a landing zone next to the basket and just knowing that I'm going to go ahead and take that par.
That was a hidden pro tip. Hokom putting for birdie. Does not connect. If you heard what Jen just said, a lot of times you get too focused on getting your shot directly to the basket when all you really need to do is find something next to it and land next to that object, and then just have a 5 or 10 foot putt, because those are practically drop-ins with your bag on.
Right. So Kristy a little frustrated, hitting left side high. Such a good drive. You always hate to walk away with a par when you have the best drive on the hole by like 30 feet. I mean, she had such a great drive. So frustrated herself, but you still have to, I think, walk away saying, hey, that was a great drive.
And also you gave yourself an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
what it takes.
It's really encouraging on its own. So Lee drops in for par. Here we are on hole 11, a nice open drive where the road plays out of bounds. 359-foot par 3. The basket's placed under these trees, so if you hyzer left, it does block your putt. Best is to finish short or right of the basket and have a nice open putt. This is a birdieable hole as long as you can throw about 330. It plays slightly downhill. Most of these players should be inside the circle putting for birdie. Hokom up first.
This is kind of our first hole out of the woods. And so this was our first little feel of the wind. And I think it just really punches up this road. And so I think a little timid, or maybe thinking maybe it wasn't as windy as it felt. And Hokom kind of mid-decision on what she wanted to do with that. Ohn going Destroyer. Gets a little bit too big of a skip, but inside her range for sure. I actually switched for my T-Bird and go really beefy Destroyer just in case that wind was going to come in a little too strong.
Giant spike hyzer from
Jen.
Yeah,
little too high. It comes up short.
Got about a 25, 30 footer
I think
for
I was
birdie.
Just outside circle maybe.
And Kristy Lee going with the hyzer flip. We've seen it work in the woods, but in the wind, those can't quite hold up. She gets a cut roll ends up short, she'll have to play the hole for par. I know all about the hyzer flips in the woods and trying to make them work in the wind. Honey, I learned my lesson in Kansas.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
I've really seen a lot of these from Sarah this week. These straight,
I have too.
right at it approaches. I love them. It's like a bid, but safe. Like,
Ohn canning a par putt from circle's edge. She'll get a birdie here on the 11th.
waving to the fans. She's like, "Yep, I'm on."
Waving at some fans, smiling, and now we're back to business. It's serious face Saturday. Wait, it's Friday.
It's Friday. It feels like Saturday, and I felt like that was in. So I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm getting at the same distance every time, and they're feeling good and just not making it over the edge. Sarah gets that one over. Great save.
And you can
as
see
well as
where
Kristy
is. If she scooted just a little bit further, you no longer have a putt at the basket.
Right.
I really do enjoy that basket, the pin position on this one.
It's a fun hole, especially after being in a really tightly wooded front nine. Hole number 12, 318 feet, placed slightly uphill. Gonna ride it out along the tree line here on the right side. No OB, no 2-meter rule, so just trying to punch it out there nice and straight. You can work a forehand, you could go right at it. A couple options. Pretty simple, nice hole.
I feel like it plays a little longer than 318. It's just slightly
It is
uphill.
definitely slightly uphill.
I feel like I need to throw more like 325 to 335 to get there.
And it's so funny, you know, we were joking about how I was like, oh, 336, I didn't think I could reach it. And I go mid on this one. Ohn going destroyer, great drive. Probably about 20-25. Hokom trying to work a big flex shot to get to the basket. And I think she was trying to punch a little extra distance and it just doesn't hyzer back. She puts too much on it. Going with the Halo Rock 3. And this is my beat up one that's been in the bag for a year. So I can really work it. It'll turn over and then hyzer back at the end for me. I absolutely love that disc.
Perfect shot.
Thank you.
Jen has a birdie putt from about 15. Kristy Lee with her hyzer flip. Left side of the tree. She's up there with a 45-foot birdie putt.
Yeah, the distance, if that disc would have just held that turn a little bit longer, it was a good distance for her.
That tree is really blocking sort of the shot. You know, you really have to be decisive on how you're going to get up there. So instead of that little standstill smoothie we've been seeing, she gives this one a jump putt.
Yeah, she's keeping us on our toes. I was really watching that with Kristy, and I was trying to figure out, I mean, she's just like picking her line, but she doesn't have any hyzer putt. It's such a flat putt. So I thought that was really interesting. Clearly she's been doing it for, I mean, I would think a long time, but maybe it's something new to kind of change it up. Who knows?
Ohn Scoggins gets a birdie here on hole 12 as well as you. That's a tough green to get all the way up to.
I'm just glad to be out of the trees.
Hokom and Lee will take a par. Let's check out hole 13, a par 3, 247 feet. The basket sits to the right. A lot of different ways you can play this hole. You can throw straight with a disc that finishes to the right, or if you don't have that quite shot shape in your bag, you can just throw straight and take a putt. Also, if you're good at an anhyzer or a turnover line, that would be preferred. Because this hole is so short, it's easy to overthrow, so you'll see a lot of players opting for a mid or a fairway here versus a full driver.
You know, it's so funny you say that. The tee pad was actually marked for 280 something, and I even moved the sign. I was like, didn't this say longer? So I was kind of confused. I was like 247. So I actually changed this. Ohn throwing her destroyer with her forehand. I go from a Roadrunner to a Mako because it's shorter.
Mm-hmm.
But I hit the line so clean. It just, those Makos and their glides, like, see ya, going down the highway, bye. Like, I should have stayed with a Roadrunner. It would have cut in harder. So it was interesting. We didn't realize the distance and kind of changed from the original tee sign. Hokom absolutely nails this drive. Just, it's a perfect distance for her forehand.
Almost
Beautiful
a
drive.
drop-in birdie for Hokom. So Ohn and Jen both went out of bounds long, and Kristy Lee going for that wide, big turnover shot, and she's clean. She's up there putting for birdie.
And that's really all you need. I honestly might just throw a putter straight, just stay in bounds.
Kristy Lee's hit the basket several times on these long putts. Let's see if she can connect for one. She does it.
You had that little fuzzy feeling. You knew it was coming.
I could see she was lining it up.
Yes. Yeah. She's been so close all day. Such a strong, solid putt from 40 or so.
It just looked like she had a little bit of extra intent on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen walks it in, and from here she can still save par. Oh, I thought that was in.
Literally the last couple putts felt so good, and they're just not falling. Sometimes it's not your day.
Right on that top nub.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of centimeters. Millimeters at that point.
Ohn wobbles it right in the heart.
The good thing and bad thing about this is the basket's so close to the road, which plays out of bounds. You can just punch it long OB and still make a par comeback putt from about 15 feet. So
right, depending on where you go out of bounds. But yeah, if you go right by the basket, it is pretty close to the OB. I usually don't get too frustrated, but after so many of those, you're like, all right.
Golf, a game of holding in your emotions.
Yes, here we are, hole 14, 263 feet. I feel like that plays so much longer than that. It's a par 3 though. Again, lots of options out here. You can take the straight route in between those two trees. There is OB all on the right side, or bend it around here, this little cluster of trees in the middle, and you're gonna find your basket tucked back into the tree line here. You could also blow long and take the backdoor route in. So lots of options, which I love for our course design. So makes you really have to decide. And this is not really a misfire. That may look like a misfire. It is not. Throwing long and then putting in is, a lot of people just going for par here.
Oh, and Kristy
that was
Lee
a misfire.
Just hit something that
the biggest branch.
Don't even think about that being an option off the tee.
No, there's so many little hidden branches out here. You don't even look at that. So Ohn doing what Sarah's doing and just trying to throw straight and get in one of two lanes to pitch into the basket. The wind was kind of picking up, so I actually did not really practice this much in practice, but I'm just going to go straight at that little gap with my T-bird.
That's a great placement.
I did not really hit it in practice, so I was glad I hit it there.
Yeah, like Jen said earlier, just landing straight ahead where she did, or, hyzering left over there where Sarah did, is a perfectly fine play for the hole. Even though it's not cut over there, it's still a fine spot.
Yeah, no OB to the left.
Kristy Lee is landed in a great position. She'll have to play the hole for a very long putt for par. Still doable.
I loved this forehand out of her hand. It looked so perfect, and it was. Sarah really felt on today. Like, she also kind of felt like she was in the zone. Just a couple of bad holes only there on that front nine, but really was putting good, great approaches, good drives.
It's fun to see how aggressive Ohn's upshot is.
Yeah,
she kind of
super aggressive.
Comes in like a bull around the green and just drops and then just makes the putt.
Yep.
Oh, I love the run on that.
I just gotta. I was so frustrated. They felt so good. Like, yeah, it's hard when they feel like they're coming out right and they just don't go in. It's hard. And then as you're watching Ohn hit everything from 100 in, so trying to keep smiling out there.
Kristy Lee scrambles to save a bogey here on the 14th. And Hokom with almost a drop-in par putt. And you'll take the par as well.
Okay with easy pars, though.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We love a par. Here we are on hole 15, 452-foot par 3. You do have this out of bounds area early left. Shouldn't even be paying attention to that. Hopefully it doesn't even come into play. Your drive should follow this drone route coming all the way down here. Now you can choose if you're going to do a hyzer shot, or you can just play a straight deep shot and get yourself a long putt. The hole does play slightly downhill, so it's not impossible to reach. Sarah Hokom up first.
It did seem pretty long, though, compared to some of the other, like hole 1. I did see a lot of people in practice kick into that OB, trying to really cut that distance down and take a nice tight route, and you barely touch that last tree on the corner, and it's going to kick you straight OB. So OB can come into play. We're all not being as aggressive maybe as some of the MP40 players, my bad. Ohn, good, powerful drive. Her and Hokom just end up almost the same spot by that one last tree on the corner. I had some good height and good power on this one. Going for Conrad. It's my goal of the day, is to make Conrad spin around. When you can't get a birdie, make the camera guy spin, right?
Kristy Lee with a nice hyzer flip, and Jen's down there putting for a birdie, but Kristy Lee up first with her second shot. Hyzer chip, but she gets caught up on the way there. The ceiling's low.
It looked like it was going to go. Yeah, that last little branch really took everything off of it. She has such a soft but smooth throw, so Hokom with a very touchy, patent pending kind of shot for her. Gets a great look at it. She was trying to show on the way, but said, sorry, you have short legs. So she said, you can't follow my route because I have long legs. And Ohn says, well, I'll make my own way. And just right at it.
Perfect.
That's why the practice is work.
It's the first really chatter, honestly, of the whole round.
Kristy Lee, no connection on that one. And she's got a little bit of a comeback putt.
Yeah, and the OB kind of sneaks up quick.
And this is your putt for birdie from about 25.
And I let it go horribly. I really knew I should have stagger stanced it because I was about 40, I think. Would have been a smoother. Once I get outside that, I really kind of push and lose my distance on the straddle. So that was the furthest I had gotten. So I was kind of frustrated that I didn't give it a good look at birdie.
Strong comeback bogey putt for Kristy Lee.
Getting good at those 15-footers, though.
You've always been good at 15-footers.
Ohn does them with her eyes closed. That's why she wears her glasses.
All right. No birdies here on the 15th. That is a tough birdie. That would be a bonus birdie.
Definitely a bonus birdie. Here we are, 16, not a bonus birdie, 302 feet. Kind of has that depth perception that it's further because we're coming into some shadows. But this truly is just kind of a 302-foot shot straight at it. The right side is the misplay. If you're going to misplay anything, kind of hyzer it in or get caught up on the right. Hyzer in too early on the left, really not a putt at it.
As Jen said, the biggest trouble on this hole is the deception. Coming back from the light and the dark. You often want to aim at the front bush, which is the light bush, and then you end up giving yourself way too long of a putt. You have to go past that bush where Sarah just landed into the shadows to really get to the green. But from the tee, it appears if I land just at this bush, that's fine.
Ongoing destroyer. Getting past the bush. I really expected kind of a skip. She got caught up on that little bit of shrub at the front. Circle's edge, no problem for Ohn. Going like an old beat up rock here, just a regular rock, and flies straighter and just got caught up over there with Sarah. Kristy really pumping one that flattens out beautifully. It looked like it was going to hyzer. And it would have been, I think, parked if she wouldn't have got caught up on that last branch.
That's one thing I love about this course. Not only do you have to be accurate, you also have to keep the height control in mind.
Right. Sarah is in a horrible spot, even though she's not, but maybe 45, 50 feet away. She goes full body on it.
All right, you went back to the stagger on the long, and that had some sauce on it.
I was not going to do that again.
Oh.
Looked so good out of her hand. Nice, strong. She has such a strong, I need to ask her how she's so strong. Strong putts from Kristy. Strong putt from Ohn.
Birdie for Ohn.
Yeah, just jamming it in the heart.
Hokom able to save par here after a scramble from that corner bush. Kristy just inches from getting her birdie putt to drop. All right, no harm done on that hole. Here we are on hole 17, a par 3, 307 feet. This hole is extremely uphill. Also, it's a tight tunnel to get there. You've got this bushy tree on your left, so if you're looking for a turnover shot, you could clip that. There's not really a super open hyzer route, so really you've got to take this direct route with the drones flying if you want to sneak up to the green and get a putt. I feel like it plays about 340.
It's definitely way up there. There actually is a huge hyzer route. I just didn't even have the juice to get there. If that tells you anything, on 307, could not get the destroyer, but only once, maybe out of 10 times up there. Yeah, it's a beautiful line if you can get up there on that right side.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Hokom
look
hits
at that.
it. I wanted it so bad. Hokom punches through there on the shrubs on the right. So since I tried to be smart, not go the big hyzer like I wanted to, I'm going T-bird right at it. Felt like I pured it. I keep finding these sticks. It didn't get too bad of a roll though, so I was lucky with that. You got to go so high. Like, it's such a difficult hole.
Kristy Lee with her hyzer flip lets it go a bit early, and she gets caught up in that first bush that you really... Oh no, she's actually before that first bush.
Yeah, she just, like you said, just released it early. Able to punch out pretty much halfway up the hill to try to save her par. Hokom finding herself in another awkward stance. Like, I was watching and we had kind of talked about those middle in-between shots and how even if you're almost at circle's edge on this putt, you almost have to throw it. Like, if you're so close, it's so drastically uphill. So Sarah, like, full backhand putted that from, like, 50. If that tells you anything on the incline. And same with Kristy, 45 feet, a throw, almost goes in. It's a throw-in putt. On maybe tiny, but uphill putts, not a problem from 40.
Ohn Scoggins, that is such a
Huge.
difficult putt, elite level putt. This footage doesn't really show you how uphill it is.
If I can explain, I'm just worried about falling. Like, I'm watching Ohn do that, and I'm like, oh, if I'm gonna slide, if I jump, like the footing is so high. Like, I'm literally still shocked that she made that. I'm like, I'm just trying not to fall.
Very impressive.
And this is the one of 2 holes that you need a break pulling up that cart. So steep.
Strong bogey putt from Kristy Lee.
And she almost saved that par. Like, that was such a big putt. Little tappers. Glad to be done with this round. Just wasn't clicking.
Ever since I won Worlds, I had my goals set on another major win. There's no past and there's no future. It's only this moment here.
It's just beautiful to watch Kristy throw the disc. Outright brilliance from Kristy.
The winner of the 2023 PDGA Champions Cup, Kristy Tatar.
Finally to hole number 18, 632 feet out back in the open. This is a par 4. There is a sneaky OB line that comes into play on the left if you hyzer out too early, as well as if you flip it over into that parking lot. But landing a first drive anywhere out in this open field and then approaching the basket to try to get your birdie. You get start and finish, nice big open field, and then a lot of trees in the middle.
Ohn Scoggins up first from the previous birdie on hole 17.
And just rips it.
Good looking flex shot. Ooh, and some nice flare skip, which we haven't seen out of this thicky grass this week.
Yeah, I think we're drying out. That wind is picking up. Hokom getting some good air underneath hers as well. Going with Old Blue, my oldest beat up destroyer in my bag.
Old Blue.
Old Blue. She almost Old Blue hyzered a little too much, getting close to that OB line over there, but up the fairway. Kristy giving another big pull. I really do like seeing her throw out in the open. Really see kind of more of the player that she is.
This is Kristy's second shot. Probably about another 330 into the green.
And like she attempted, really kind of playing the wind. You're going to throw it at the parking lot to get the angle to kind of, once you skip and hyzer out, to be at the basket. If you aim at the basket on this approach, you're going to be way to the left. So this is one of those you have to, if you're going hyzer, you're going to have to aim towards the OB.
Scoggins' second shot.
I don't think she knows how far she's throwing these days. Like, she ripped it past the basket.
She left herself with about a 40-foot birdie putt.
I had about 200 left. I really thought I actually let that go too early, but it ends up being low enough to dig and not skip.
Thought that Toro was going to start flying left.
I really wanted to aim that, like I said, towards the parking lot. Kristy with a good bid back for the birdie.
Scoggins for birdie 3.
Almost gets it. Like, almost. She was so on her putting today, like haven't seen in a while.
Ooh, nice birdie putt out of Sarah Hokom. Capturing a 3 on this par 4 here on the 18th.
Yeah, and a solid round for Hokom. Just a couple of hiccups.
Kristy Lee finishing strong with a par.
And I'm like, forget it. Let's get off.
Let's
birdie
from
let's just turbo
6
and go.
feet. I love it. And Ohn will settle for a par after a slight overthrow on her upshot. It's a crush of an upshot, wasn't it?
Huge. probably 350 or more. And maybe the first drive went a little longer than she was used to going. She had that tournament juice today.
And there you have it, the round 2 results of the back 9. We have Ohn Scoggins in the lead, Jennifer Allen in second, Sarah Hokom in third, and on this card, Kristy Lee finished 5 over par. Let's take a look at the leaderboard.
Jumping into the third round card, lead card, Holly Finley, along with Hokom, Ohn, and myself. We will see you tomorrow, round 3, back at Circle Bar.